Hello and welcome to Warcraft Daily for today, the 13th of September 2013. So, today's news. We have a whole bunch of hotfixes which actually include loads and loads and loads of awesome changes to the Timeless Isles, which will actually make it a much more fun and doable zone. Some talk about Shaohao reputation, some stuff about flex and just how the system works, Siege of Orgrimmar difficulty, and then a little bit of chatter from me. So, let's jump into it. Now for hotfixes, a lot of you will be very happy to hear these. Now, of note are the fix to the albatrosses. Once a player has one of these and they're flying around their flight path, they can no longer be interrupted. This really is a brilliant change, and really, it's actually stupendously stupid that it wasn't in there in the first place, because the amount of trolling that could be done with these albatrosses was frankly absurd. So yes, excellent news about this. I'm very happy to hear it. Hopefully it will make the Isle more palatable. Also, the Path of the Mistwalker daily quest now properly gives 250 reputation with Shaohao, so that's another 250 rep a day to add to the very hard rep grind. More on that later. They also reduced the burden of Eternity drop from Kukuru's chest. This is kinda sad, but I suppose they do need to keep all the things balanced. And it's still, I still have to do more research as to whether it's worth just buying them for 50,000 coins, the burdens, or trying to get them from Kukuru's chests. I'm just not sure at the minute. They've also reduced the cost of Mogu Runes of Fate to a mere 1,000 coins, so if you, want to go back into Throne of Thunder or try to roll on a bunch of the things there, examples would be, say, the rare pets, mounts, that kind of thing, well, just pets actually, then I suppose it's cheaper to do so. Now, let's talk about Shaohao reputation. A lot of people have been complaining about this grind, and Blizzard were quick to point out that there isn't really anything necessary about this rep grind. There's nothing that really directly affects the gameplay progression of your character. Really, there's just a cool mount and one or two vanity items. Most of these things are very easy to get because they're all below revered. Post revered though, that's still hard to get, And really, this was supposed to harken back to the old days of the big rep grind that gives you a mount. Once you have that mount, it's a badge. It's like a badge of honor, and it's something you can do every day. And right, it may not be the most fun thing, but it's a payout. It's a payoff, and it's something at the end which you feel you've worked for, and that was awesome. I remember seeing my Netherwing Drake. I spent about 20 days getting my Netherwing Drake. You know what? Bloody brilliant. I still use that thing to this day on my warrior. I actually ended up doing that grind twice before they had account-wide mounts. And yeah, Netherwing, I loved that. It was fun back in the day. And having something like a Shaohao is very good. Now, of course, Netherwing did have a few more quests and things, so this is probably more like the old Furbog rep grind. But hey, you know what? I think it's good. I think it's more diverse from the other rep grinds we have at the minute, and if this was just another 5 daily quests, I think it would just add fuel to that whole fire. I think it's better just, have one of those special grinds. I think there needs to be a special grind every expansion, or at least one or two of them. You know the way in, say, Burning Crusade, we had the Nether Rays, we had the Nether Drakes, cool stuff like that. I think it's all positive and good for the game. Now, they also cleared up some flexible rating issues and things people weren't sure about. So the first thing is about where you start. So say if you queue a group and half the team is 5 out of 14 and the other half is 8 out of 14. Well, in that case the raid would start at 5 out of 14. Pretty much it starts at the lowest progression player in the group, or at least that's how it seems to me. Also, they said that you can queue in with less than 10 people, so honestly, see, if you're geared for normals, you could go in with 8 to 9 players and down the first few bosses easily, I'd say. And perhaps even more. Like, if you're only one player down, that more than compensates for the gear difference. So if you have a raid night where people can't turn up, maybe the 540s would be a bit of a gear improvement for you, or you just want to see some of those fights and get more experience in. Totally worth doing. So yeah, now let's get on to another topic of discussion, which is Siege of Orgrimmar difficulty. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this actually, especially because Garrosh was killed in 2 days. And I suppose Lei Shen was killed in 4, and I thought tier 15 was, in terms of difficulty, it was a pretty solid tier once you got onto heroics, which took a long time, and it was actually the most, one of the most, highest number of attempts that it took for people to clear on heroic. So yes, Siege of Orgrimmar is designed to have more of a difficulty curve than Throne of Thunder did. Groups that were able to clear most of Throne of Thunder should be able to down the initial wing with less effort than, say, the first wing of Throne of Thunder took. And in my experience, this does seem to be the case. You do have to remember, there's also 2 more bosses in this, so you might have 1 or 2 more easy bosses at the start. Now, about my own personal raiding experience, I have killed a Mercius on Flex because I was benched that night. The way we have 12 people, so we just have to slash roll. That's just the way, yeah, it's the fair way of doing things, right? So anyway, there was that. A Mercius. I haven't done Fallen Protectors. Then we did Nurashen, Shaohao of Pride, and we all but have Galakras killed. And honestly, the bosses so far, in the opinion of pretty much the whole raid, we all think they are so damn fun. They are well designed, they have interesting mechanics, there's a lot of individual responsibility in the fights, which means that even if the fight's not particularly hard, you still feel like you've done things that have directly contributed to victory. So I think it's a very well designed tier, and okay, the bosses are pretty easy, you know, 2 raid nights has got us nearly 5 out of 10, but I think that's okay. Because I think heroics are pretty difficult, from what I would imagine anyway. And, you know, this reminds me back of the times with ICC. And ICC is the only place that our, you know, raid guild, our guild has, like, cleared most of in heroic. I think it was, what, is it 11, 12 bosses? I can't even remember now. But we had cleared, like, the first 7 or 8 on heroic. And it did take quite a while, so I think there's definitely a lot of content in the Siege of Orgrimmar, and that's definitely a good thing. And of course, patch 5.5 will be a thing, so it's not like we're going to have a complete drought of content before the next expansion. Now, some people have said that they feel flexible difficulty is too easy. And, well, basically, Blizzard pointed out that when they looked at the army of the people that were complaining, their gear was pretty much right for normals and heroics. Which means flex is meant for flex, people. You know, the example of doing it that I said above was just, you know, for a bit of fun if your raid night doesn't go as planned. But honestly, proper flex progression is meant for people that don't have the best gear in the game. If you're going in there with, say, normal mode Throne of Thunder gear, heroic mode Throne of Thunder gear, flex is just not for you. Maybe if you're in 510s, 502, something like that, then maybe flex is for you. But, yeah, I think I'm very happy with flex. And I'd just like to see sort of what feedback we get, how many of those sort of casual friends and family guilds are actually running flex raids. I want to see see the stats for that. We won't see the stats, but we'll at least see Blizzard talking about them. And finally, the last thing I want to say is that I'm doing raid guides now. I think the format that I have for guides really lends itself well. And by the way, to the new people on the channel, there's more than just guides here. There's Warcraft Daily, there's sometimes gameplay videos. I always get in the PTRs really quick so I can show everyone all the new stuff. But yeah, there's more than guides. Just right now, guides are the things to do because 5.4 has just came out. So I have a Nurashen guide and a Shaohao of Prague. Wow, I just said the Shaohao of Prague. So apparently Prague has its own Sha, but the guide I did wasn't the Shide. The Shide? Wow, the Shaohao of Pride. I'm in a roll today. So yeah, I have 2 guides coming out, and those are guides that can really help me out, so I'd kind of ultra appreciate it if you guys viewed them and stuff like that. So yeah, now while they are normal mode guides, the principles do apply to flex. At the end of the day, flex should be nearly as hard as normal mode if you're in the appropriate gear. That's the intent. But anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.